I was perusing my game library, which I do from time to time, and I got completely sucked back into a game I'd long forgotten about. A game that basically defines the rule of cool. Any D&D nerd out there knows what I'm talking about. Now, the game I'm talking about is Development Story. It was a fever dream on top of an acid trip. The vibes, they're immaculate. The combat, oh, so crisp. Everything else is pretty mid. Yeah, it's not great. And the remaster, so low effort it hurts. And honestly, the title, Re-Reckoning, really boys? That's the best you could come up with? Might possibly the worst name for a remaster in the history of gaming. It is the epitome of a 7 out of 10. If you haven't guessed yet, the game I'm talking about, Kingdoms of Amalur, Reckoning. Or, in my case, I was playing the remastered, so Re-Reckoning. Awful name. So what do you think? Does that sound fair? Drop your thoughts down below, because we need to talk about this chaotic game. Every video about this game talks about its wild development. So I'm here to give you just the Cole's notes. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. So, Curt Schilling. Yeah, that Curt Schilling, the baseball player. The guy most famous for wearing a bloody sock during the World Series. He loved World of Warcraft. And gaming in general, which made him qualified to run a game studio. He started one in Massachusetts, then moved it to Rhode Island after the state offered him a $75 million incentive. Yeah, I'd move to Rhode Island too. So, let me get this straight. No CEO experience, no game dev experience, and no business background whatsoever. And you hand him $75 million of taxpayer dollars? That's a very questionable decision, boys. Rhode Island. I gotta ask, why? Why? You thought he could run a game company because he could throw a ball good? The whole thing was doomed from the very start. To his credit, Schilling did hire some legends in Tom McFarlane and R.A. Salvatore. But anyone with half a brain could predict the company would eventually go bankrupt. And they did. Still, the fact that anything playable came out of this mess is a slight miracle. So what's the story here? Honestly, doesn't matter. It's serviceable, nothing groundbreaking. You play as the Fateless One. To be fair, it's a cooler title than the generic Hero, or the more comical Chicken Chaser from Fable. You're resurrected to something called the Well of Souls, and are tasked with stopping Gavlo, and ultimately, Tirnock himself. It's fine. Gets the job done, but this game doesn't shine because of its story. It shines because of how good it feels to play. I'm here to tell you, Reckoning's combat still holds up, still feels incredible today. It's fast, fluid, flexible, and every class feels completely overpowered in the best way. Not every game needs to drag its nuts across your face to feel fun and engaging. Sometimes it's fun to drag your nuts all over the face of your enemies. You've got 3 main class trees: Might, Finesse, and Sorcery. Rogues are quick and dodge heavy. They just sling slow but satisfying and devastating spells. And Might. Bonk everything into oblivion. You can freely mix and match, be a fire-slinging stabby boy or an ice-wielding hammer god. The system rewards versatility, and the Fates cards give permanent boosts for completing factions like the Mages Guild or Warsworn. If you mess up your build, simply pay a Fate waiver and respec. Simple. The combat in Reckoning ages beautifully. The longer you play, the better it feels. Amalur's world has almost an ethereal feel, something I've never quite felt in an RPG. The art style and music blend perfectly, The character design, spell effects, architecture, it feels so distinct, even though the zones themselves aren't actually that much different. The variety comes from the monster design, how each area feels through lighting, color, and music. The soundtrack is subtle but magical. It doesn't scream epic, but perfectly enhances that ancient mystical vibe. Now, how can you have such a great and awesome combat loop and such dog shit weapons and armor systems? Since all the best gear is crafted, your character ends up looking the same every playthrough. Sure, there are some cool, unique weapons, and they're statistically weaker than the boring stuff you can craft. Why is there no transmog system? Seriously, why? In Amalur, you either look powerful or you are powerful. You can't be both. That kills replay value. There's no surprise loot moments like Diablo or Borderlands. Every upgrade is planned, and that predictable crafting loop makes the subsequent playthroughs a lot less exciting. Now let's talk about the re-reckoning. It's underwhelming, sorry to say. Graphically, I feel it looks about the same. Performance-wise, not much better. The length of load times is definitely improved. I have to give them that. The new DLC, Fatesworn, easily the weakest of the bunch. Worse than Dead Kill or To the Narrows. The chaos damage mechanic feels awful. It basically nerfs all your damage to 0, unless you use chaos weapons, which breaks the combat flow completely. And top it all off, it's glitchier than the original. Not the grand revival everyone was hoping for when it was announced. Despite all that, I absolutely adore this game. Flawed, for sure, but it plays like nothing else. Combat is unmatched. The world is beautiful, and the story is so very forgettable. It's not a great game, but it's a good one. Solid, satisfying. The ultimate 7 out of 10. You finished Kingdoms of Amalur. Not with any deep thoughts, but with a simple, yeah, that was fun. Let me know in the comments what you think. Did I rate it right? If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and as always, have a great day, and God bless.